Yes, it's working. Good. In this video, I want to talk about traumatic thinking. The Matrix is nothing but a trauma simulation. And as a trauma simulation, it can only be kept real in practice if the population comply with this trauma simulation. It goes like this. When a population is afraid, when they are frightened, they want to escape from the fright. It's natural that you want to get rid of fright. So you cause the fright in the population, then the population begins to malfunction, and people want the violence and the diseases, all of that to stop, to go away. And then you give them outlet. And once people have an outlet from that fright, from that collective frustration, they're at ease. And in that ease, there's this magnetic glue that attaches them together as a people. It's a traumatic tie. Now people experience this traumatic tie as something great, as something worthwhile. So they want to keep it, so the people get attached to it. So then you, as the pagan rulers or the elite, you make sure that that magnetic glue is promoted and defended publicly. So to keep that going, we need to frighten the population and relieve the population from time and time again. Intoxication, relief, intoxication, relief. That's the Matrix. It's a trauma simulation. And within this trauma simulation, you are conditioned to think a certain way. Look, as a human being, you're born in sin, you're born in a fallen state. That's why you need Christ to become born again. Okay? So in a fallen state, it's very easy to be trapped in all kinds of wrong thinking patterns because you have no other option. To be renewed to your mind, you have to become born again. So before you become born again, it's very easy to be tricked into many dysfunctional thinking patterns without being aware of it because you are in a fallen state. And in a fallen state, you don't see things clearly. Looking beyond, looking at the bigger picture is not something that people that aren't born again tend to do. There are some people that aren't born again that do this, that look at the bigger picture, but most don't. Never. In a trauma simulation, you have to relate to others in a traumatic manner. Because remember that magnetic glue that the people feel at home at is a trauma bond. So in order for the trauma bond to work, they need to operate in a traumatic manner. They need to have traumatic thinking to maintain that magnetic glue that keeps them together as a nation or as a people, whatever construction it is. So the thing is, when you become born again, you're renewed. You're a renewed creature then. You're not in a fallen state anymore, but you still have leftovers in your thinking of the program of the world. And the Holy Spirit wants you to be free from traumatic thinking. Because traumatic thinking disables you from walking by faith. Traumatic thinking hinders you in receiving from Christ. And it's a purpose you receive from Him that you will walk in His power. Christ is the vine, you are the branch. So as a branch, you ought to receive what comes from the vine. But traumatic thinking hinders you in receiving what comes from the vine. That's why the Holy Spirit wants you free from traumatic thinking. Traumatic thinking is often summarized as versus 10. But it's really a strong attachment to security that isn't real security. And it goes like this. The human population consists out of mortals. We know that because our bodies will expire. So as mortals, those human beings want security and safety. Those are two natural human needs. And if a third needs to be relevant. So in that mortal state, fallen mankind clings onto things to feel secure. And when people together cling onto something, it gives them a sense of relevance. And in that way, they hope to fulfill that need for relevance that they have. So, the community then permits certain priests, the priest class, whereas the pagan rulers, to secure that idol that they're holding on to. And how do the pagan rulers secure that idol? They take individuals actors most of the time, or temple prostitutes, which also function as actors. They take temple prostitutes and actors to play a role publicly, and they decorate those actors and also temple prostitutes with gold and silver. And they parade them in gold and silver. Then the population looks up to them and they feel at ease, because they identify themselves in the individual that's crowned with gold and silver. And that's how the idolatry is kept alive. So the priest class is taking advantage of the basic human needs that every human being has. Okay? But because many in the human population don't agree with Christ, they're not following Christ, they look for a substitute for Christ. So the false Christ, the false securities that they're holding on to are their idols. And the priest class hires actors who are often sellouts to play the roles to keep this fake security going. That's why you have celebrities. That's why you have celebrity politicians, celebrity businessmen. Those are actors or temple prostitutes used by the priest class of the world, the shadow government or the bank rules of this world, to keep the false security going. And the majority of human population, they cling on to those false securities with their whole being. It's that keeps them together locally. But even locally, there are issues. There are always issues. That's why they keep seeking relief. Now, as someone is born again, you ought to be freed from traumatic thinking. Because you can't, I'm saying this, you cannot be a blessing unto others as Christ intends, and at the same time relate others in a traumatic manner. That's why Christ said, love your neighbor as yourself. Many of the things Christ said was really intended to shape your thinking according to his image, according to his vision. Okay, what I'm saying here? Now, everyone before they became born again had some idols they held on to, some unexamined expectations they held there. Not everyone is into celebrities from Hollywood. Not everyone is into religion. Not everyone is into political ideals. Every human being that's not renewed in their mind has some unexamined expectations that they're holding on to. They have idols. And Christ wants you free from idolatry, because idolatry is a weight onto you. Even if idolatry works for you in the short run, it is a trap in the long run. And here's the thing, you don't even need idolatry, because you have the power to walk in. You have the power to operate in. What else you need than the power? Why would you go to the fake if you have the real inside of you? Because it's the Holy Spirit that's inside of you as a believer. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.